Good evening, and welcome to our National Honor Society induction, a celebration of learning, a celebration of grit, and a celebration of a hard and true work ethic that will serve you for the rest of your lives. We should celebrate you tonight. As I thought about tonight, I was rushing around a lot today, which I tend to do, and I wanted to see my granddaughters in between. I promised my daughter-in-law that I would watch them for half an hour. And I always bring them dinner, and I got there, and my two granddaughters, Lucy, who is 3, and Abby, who is 5, were telling me about school. Perfect, right? They started talking to me. Lucy is very excited because this week she wrote her name for the first time. And she was so excited that she did that, and she very proudly said her teacher taught her to do that. This was a big revelation. Abby, on the other hand, decided that she was going to one-up Lucy, as she often does, and she began reading. Now, she's 5, she doesn't really read, but she takes the book and she puts it in front of her, and she tells me a story. And I listen very intently and pretend like I have no idea that she's not reading. And when I thought about this, first of all, I love to talk about my grandchildren, but when I thought about this, I thought, this is perfect for a night honoring our National Honor Society inductees. Because my granddaughters are so little, and they're so excited, and learning is so new, that it doesn't even occur to them not to brag or to be really excited about what they're learning. Never occurs to them. Some of that enthusiasm goes away by the time you get to high school. Okay, maybe a lot of it. However, that enthusiasm, that basis that says, I love to learn, I want to learn, I'll work hard to learn, I want to achieve things for myself. These are the things that I would like to do. I know these things will set me apart from other students. Sometimes somebody might make a comment, you know, as my son loves to do to me, hey, nerd. Sometimes people will be a little jealous of you because you have accomplished so much. And they don't always see that there's a lot of hard work behind that accomplishment. But there's a part of you that retains that little spark, that little part of that 3-year-old and that 5-year-old that says, isn't it cool to learn? Aren't I doing a great job? And isn't this a fun thing? Isn't this something to celebrate? That's what I thought about as I was driving back here, probably too quickly because I didn't want to be late, and my son lives kind of far from here. But I was thinking about that, and I thought, this is an awesome thing, because times in your life come together, and you're driving somewhere, and you think, wait a minute, I know exactly what I want to say to these students. I know exactly how I want to make you think about who you are and what brought you here. I know about that, and it came into my life. It's not because of me, it was happenstance, but because I love to learn, I listened to what was happening in my life long enough to know that that's what I wanted to tell you. Part of me has a little bit of Lucy and a little bit of Abby in me, and a little bit of each one of you. You worked hard to be here. When other people would say, you know what, I don't have any homework tonight, you're the students that say, I should probably look that over again. When other folks might say, I can put that off until tomorrow, although many of you may be procrastinators, and that's okay too, just be careful. You are the ones that say, I need to know how I need to get this done. I need to make some goals, I need to set them, and I need to take them seriously. Notice how I haven't talked much about adults? We're the lucky ones that get to do this with you, because we chose this profession because we just happen to love to learn as well. But what I want you to remember tonight is the joy that you bring to your learning, is the hard work that you bring to that classroom every single day, and the fact that we would like to celebrate you. You make our school a better place because you show your younger classmates what it looks like to be a good citizen, to be a good student, to be a good person. And you do that with your hard work, with your grit, and with all the other things that will be talked about as we light these candles tonight. Your service, your character, and your leadership. I want you to spend a little bit of time in the next few days thinking about what brought you here. And when you think about that, I want you to celebrate that piece of yourself. Because more important, don't tell your teachers I said this, but more important than any lesson that you're going to learn in a classroom is the ethic that you bring to our classrooms every single day. It's what sets you apart, and I absolutely, positively celebrate you. Thank you very much.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us in this very special event. I'd like to take a moment and thank some special people who made contributions to this evening: Mrs. Hardy, Mrs. Murphy, and our wonderful ladies in the cafeteria. As always, these ladies are instrumental in making all of our school functions very successful. We are here this evening to celebrate the accomplishments of these students and to recognize them as new members of the National Honor Society. The National Honor Society is a leader among educational organizations and societies that promote recognition for students who reflect outstanding accomplishments in the areas of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. Membership to the National Honor Society is a privilege. The Honor Society members exhibit excellence in academics and leadership, honorable and admirable character, and demonstrate a commitment to service, all of which indicate the member is willing to use personal talents and skills for the improvement of both self and society. This honorary organization invites juniors and seniors who maintain an 88 grade point average to be considered. The student is asked to fill personal information form that the faculty uses to evaluate the student in regard to qualities of leadership, service, character, and scholarship. The students are then selected by a 5-member faculty committee after receiving input from the entire faculty. This induction ceremony is a solemn ritual that will be conducted at thousands of high schools across the country. To begin, I'd like to introduce the current members and ask that they stand as I call their names. Bianca Getzel, Maddie Gora, Megan James, Paige Johnson, Marty Meyer, Kathleen Sinatra, and Ashley Wagenblass. Thank you. You may be seated. Those who are reading the National Honor Society pillars, please come forward at this time.
Scholarship denotes a commitment to learning. A student is willing to spend hours in reading and studying, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended, for human education ends only when the end of life. Knowledge is one great element in life, which leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. Learning furnishes the lamp by which we read the past, the torch guiding us to understand the present, and the light that illuminates the future. Candidates have the charge to continually expand their world through the opportunity to inherit scholarship.
Leadership should exert a wholesome influence on the school. In taking initiative in the classroom and in school activities, the real leader strives to train and aid others to reach their common goals of success. The price of leadership is sacrifice, the willingness to yield one's personal interests for the interests of others. A leader has self-confidence and will go forward when others hesitate. No matter what power and resources may exist in a school, community, or nation, they are not influential without the guidance of a wise leader. Leadership is always needed, thus, to lead a meaningful and substantive charge to each of our members.
Service can be established in the routine of the day's work, where many opportunities arise to help others both in school and in the community. A willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without monetary compensation or public recognition is the quality we seek in our membership and promote for the entire student body. We are committed to volunteering our time and talents to the creation of a better tomorrow.
Character is the force within the individual that distinguishes each person from others. It creates for each of us our individuality, our goodness. It is that without which no one can respect oneself nor hope to attain the respect of others. It is this force of character that guides one through life and, once developed, grows steadily within. Character is achieved, not received. It is the product of constant thought and action, the daily striving to make the right choice. The problem of character is the problem of self-control. We must be in reality that what we wish to appear to others, to be rather than to seem. By demonstrating such qualities as respect, responsibility, trustworthiness, fairness, caring, and citizenship, we may hope to prove by example that we value character.
Each current member of the National Honor Society has written some words about our new inductees. We invite them to come forward, tap their chosen new member, and share some words about them.
Noelia is the epitome of a successful Shepaug student. She is co-captain of the girls' soccer team, a member of track and field, and members of both the Leo Club and Spartan Club. But past her extracurricular involvement, Noelia is a leader in the classroom. She is described by teachers as a tenacious problem solver, someone who challenges herself academically and sets very high standards and expectations for herself. Having been in the classroom with her myself, I know that she is always willing to help her peers and offer original ideas to class discussions. Noelia is not afraid of a challenge and tackles problems with elegance and sophistication well beyond her years, a trait that I know I am often inspired by. She is a loyal friend and exemplary student and an active contributor to our community. In all that Noelia does, she accomplishes it with grace and a positive attitude, which is why I'm honored to welcome her into the National Honor Society and proud to call her my friend.
Maddie Baker is going to be a great addition to the Shepaug National Honor Society. I've known Maddie for a very long time, and I can safely say that this girl has a great head on her shoulders. We are members of the same church, and we grew up doing youth activities and then service events together. Maddie is described by her teachers as a driven student who strives to do well. She enjoys collaborating with her classmates and asks good clarifying questions in and out of class. Maddie is the kind of student teachers want in class. She's also in the Shepaug band and pep band and was a member of the pep squad, helping spread school spirit at basketball games. She's volunteered and worked at the Washington Parks and Rec Summer Camp and volunteered her time at the Gun Memorial Museum. Maddie also helps give back to the community through the Leo Club here at Shepaug. Maddie's academic achievements, moral compass, and enthusiasm will make her a great contributor to the National Honor Society.
Okay. I've known Lauren for 13 years, and it's been a pleasure to grow up with her through elementary, middle, and high school. I feel like it was just yesterday when we were carefree fifth graders, romping around during field day and always finding a reason to laugh. Now we're at the top of the food chain as stressed out seniors, and although I don't have any classes with Lauren anymore, whenever we do see each other, we still seem to find a reason to laugh. Lauren is just a fun person to be around, and she can make a bad day turn into a good one in the blink of an eye. Not only that, but Lauren has always had this sense of enthusiasm and determination that really helps people stick together. Because of these personality traits, she's learned not only how to be a part of a team, but how to lead a team. She's been chosen as the team captain of the girls' varsity cross-country team for 2 years in a row now. She leads by example, and her peers respect her for that. Perhaps one of my favorite things about Lauren is that she not only pushes herself to be better every day, but she also pushes the people around her to be the best that they can possibly be, even if it's just through finding a reason to laugh. And that's why I'm more than happy to welcome her into the National Honor Society.
When talking about international relations and foreign policy, there are two forms of power: hard power and soft power. Hard power is aggressive and forward and tough and mean. It sets off bombs and explode right in front of your face. But soft power is probably the most valuable of the two, despite its decreased shock value. Soft power will not create a mushroom in the sky, and it will not flex its muscles when you turn and look its way. But it is a necessary force which has defined diplomacy and politics as we know it today. And even though Alejandra might not have defined diplomacy and politics, she does not fail to be one of the strongest examples of soft power I know. She is so extremely kind-hearted, and not only do I believe that she always sees the best in people, but because of her kind-hearted spirit, she always wants to help others despite her ability to do so. I have never seen her fail to try. In fact, for a senior project, she is helping Latinos around the community. And one might not notice it at first because of Alejandra's soft smile, but Alejandra is also relentlessly strong. She came here from Peru and has worked relentlessly hard to achieve extreme fluency in the English language, as one can hear. And despite her hardships, which she could have used as excuses for a bad GPA or grades, she has done anything but excel academically. And the capacity to turn your obstacles into steps for future success is part of how true power is defined, at least to me. So because Alejandra Cespedes is the most resounding example of soft power in a high school student, I am honored to welcome her into the National Honor Society.
Although I do not know Michael as well as some other people here know their inductees, I do know just from the small glimpse into his life that I have been provided with that he is an exemplary student, an incredible athlete, and an obvious candidate for the National Honor Society. Michael says that the lessons that he has learned during his sports season have carried over to his schoolwork. He is an active peer leader, future business leader of America, and an involved member of the Spartan Club, and he is capable of managing all of these commitments due to his proficient leadership skills. He said himself that He takes it upon himself to influence participation and lead when his group was stumped because he's not afraid to voice his opinions or put himself out there. He has consistently volunteered for 2 years at the Parks and Recreations Camp in Bridgewater. He is a skilled counselor, a varsity athlete, a dedicated servant of the community, and is extremely intelligent. Michael credits his success to his parents, who he says brought him up in a way that facilitated his growth into a mature and responsible young adult. I think that Michael will be a great addition to Shepaug's chapter of the National Honor Society.
I've known Cody Jordan for almost all my life. During all those years of development and growth, one trait has never ceased. It is one that impels him to excel individually. Cody is invulnerable to the most rigorous athletics, from cross-country team to swimming, and even self-initiated races under the condition of their extraordinary challenge. He undertakes subjects to which he can ascribe the greatest difficulty, or the greatest potential for growth. AP Psychology, AP Spanish, just to name a couple. But perhaps more importantly, it is also a quality that inspires community service. And I mean this more than the 30 hours that Shepaug requires us to do. Cody is unconditionally dedicated to a cause far greater than any one person. There's not a service opportunity which he denies, no moment of scholastic spirit he meets with sardonyx, and his ideal future is one in ultimate service to our nation. This characteristic is, of course, dedication. And I can only hope we at National Honor Society can embody this with as much completion.
Okay. Josh Jordan. There is no doubt that Josh Jordan is insatiably curious, as this young man is entranced by the machinations of how everything in his world works. This leads him to research things for hours on end before deciding to go into his garage and work on wood or blacksmith in his free time. But his awe and curiosity transcends just these things, as one can see this quality in every classroom and conversation one has with this young man. And it is this curiosity which makes him, in my opinion, a 17-year-old genius. Yet, that is not all that makes him who he is. When talking to him, he will push you to try and separate yourself from your inherent biases and opinions. Unlike all of us who wholeheartedly stand by an opinion we have acquired, Josh always strives to go further, to question his own opinion and that of others, even that of this very society. He strives not to formulate any sort of stance on an issue until he has done all the research he believes necessary. And this kind of character is more than just admirable, because it is Josh who pushes one to question everything that lies in front of them and everything inside even their own minds. It is this character and this perspective on life that has led Josh to succeed in debate team, academics, and as a member of the class government. And it is these attributes which have made him a great part of my life and soon that of the society's.
Although Tierney is in the class below me, her work ethic is something that I look up to, and I see her as a role model because of that. I've had the pleasure of playing field hockey with Tierney for 3 years, and I've had her in my math class for 5. In both aspects, she is a leader and a hard worker. She isn't afraid to ask questions because she always wants to better herself and learn more. But on top of Tierney playing sports all 3 seasons and being in a high-level math class, Tierney is also involved in lots of clubs around the school. Tierney is a vice president of the Leo Club and is an active member of the Spartan Club, FBLA, and Model UN. And even with all the activities she is a part of, she never complains and finds a way to have fun doing them. She is seriously one of the hardest workers I know and will never give up. Anyone is lucky to have Tierney on their team, and she will be a great addition to the National Honor Society.
Maxwell. Or do we call him Max? He's not the sort of guy to mind either. One day last year, I think during some pit orchestra rehearsal for Seussical, Max had left to pick up some saxophone reeds, and he wasn't in the practice room, and Mr. Raposo, our band director, turned to me and said, "They don't come much nicer than that, do they?" And the answer, as I said then, and I say now, is no. No, they do not. As for a reason, I can only think of Max's remarkable happiness. From the moment you greet him, all the frets and troubles that had consumed and plagued your mind moments before vanish. Well, maybe not vanish. Max is so happy that you accept them in their insignificance. I have only a theory on how he commits this sorcery. It certainly helps that he's a brilliant thinker. From just my own experiences, he's a passionate and excellent scientist and a musician who can transfigure the audience and even other players. But I believe the fact that those powers are conducted for others gives Max this incredible capacity for resolution. This selflessness, intuition, could be called the greatest of all gifts. And there is no doubt that Max will be an outstanding addition to the National Honor Society.
Emma Krebs is going to be a great member of NHS. She's an active participant in school, very bright, a leader, and gives back to her community. Emma is a 3-season athlete, cross-country, indoor, and outdoor track. Even though she's just a junior and was injured for most of the season, the boot, she was captain of the girls' cross-country team this fall. This speaks to her ability to lead. Being captain is not easy. When she used to play soccer, she was a leader as well. Emma and I had played soccer together for countless seasons. She is one of the hardest workers I know and always led by example. Another amazing thing she's doing as just a junior is that she's in AP Calc this year. She is one of only 2 juniors taking this high-level math. It is not easy, trust me, and it is incredibly impressive and a little frustrating when she excels. Emma is also an active member of Spartan Club, helping spread school spirit and pride. One of many ways that she helps give back to her community is through the Leo Club. I'm so glad to welcome Emma to the National Honor Society.
Where does one even begin? There is no question that I could stand here and explain to you how Matthew is the perfect embodiment of the National Honor Society pillars, as he is a leader by doing things like being the captain of the debate team, or as a scholar by taking some of the most rigorous classes Shepaug offers, or as a great member of this community. But there's one huge problem with that. Matthew's not perfect. But when talking about him, one cannot help but to talk about his powerful character, because it is this about Matt which distinguishes him from everybody else. He is a guy whose character is extremely bold and unforgettable. Once you meet Matt, you cannot forget him. Matthew is so terribly honest, and he is never afraid to stand up to any sort of authority. He would never back down from an argument. Rather, I think he physically could not. And when one is assembling an institution and a group of people, I honestly believe it would feel incomplete without someone like him. Matt knows and wholeheartedly believes that everything, no matter its amount of acquired respect and rank, can be improved. Also, once Matt commits to something, he never backs down from an argument, a job, or just mere research. In fact, he reads Wikipedia articles in his free time as he strives to learn about different cultures. I think for being someone who has barely set foot out of Region 12, Matt remains one of the most cultured people I know. So it is his undying commitment and his boundless courage to declare his opinion, no matter what others may think of him, that define him. Matthew is not perfect, but he has taught me so much about what the word character actually means. So to quote vocabulary from Model UN, an organization that both Matt and I share a passion for the reasons previously stated, I resolve that Matthew Ronald Marchese be inducted into the National Honor Society.
I have known Olivia for most of my life, and I've gotten the pleasure to watch her grow into an extraordinary person. Olivia is one of those people you can easily joke around with and have a good time. However, when it comes down to being serious, she is the hardest worker out there. Olivia is always looking to be better in what she does. She never wants to miss a practice and always sets high standards for herself and those around her. People feel comfortable asking her for help and looking for her as an example. Because of that, it isn't a surprise that she was a co-captain of the field hockey team already in her junior year and was chosen as the first member of the Berkshire League field hockey team, which basically means that she is the best field hockey player in the Berkshire League. Olivia also plays basketball in the winter and softball in both the spring and summer, where her level of excellence is just as high. Outside of sports, Olivia is the treasurer of the Leo Club and is an active member of both the Spartan Club and the Future Business Leaders of America. Olivia will be a great addition to the National Honor Society because she will always have fun and make it an enjoyable time for everyone, as well as working as hard as she can. When I think of a phrase to describe Avery, I think of someone who seriously doesn't give up. I have only known Avery for 3 years, but in that short amount of time, I have seen how she always puts effort in everything she does. She always sets high standards for herself. Whatever task she has at hand, she will put her best foot forward and will do it with a positive attitude. Even if she doesn't succeed at the goal, she will always find a way to laugh it out and make the best of it. Avery just started playing field hockey last year and has already blossomed into a varsity starter and is someone who the younger classmen already look up to. She wouldn't have gotten as far as she is in sports right now without pushing herself to be better. But Avery does so much more than just softball and field hockey. Avery has participated in the community both in and out of school as a member of the Leo Club and her church in Sherman. Although I don't see her in these activities outside of school, I know it is safe to say that she works just as hard in those. Avery will definitely be a great addition to National Honor Society. Don't worry, this is the last person I'm talking about. I have known Fernando since middle school, but it isn't until this year that I've really seen how dedicated of a person he is. Fernando is someone who is always willing to help others. When opportunity comes, Fernando is the first to volunteer. When our class needed him, Fernando volunteered to be our secretary. In just the short amount of time that he has been officer, he has already put in a tremendous amount of work planning the senior trip. However, even last year when Fernando was not in an officer position, he was still an active member of the class, participating in both prom and fundraising committee. Fernando is also someone who isn't afraid to take on a challenging task. This year, Fernando also took on the challenge of being the president of the Spartan Club, and for his senior project is raising money to get a scoreboard for the soccer field. Both required tremendous time and effort, but Fernando was dedicated to completing those tasks with his best effort. However, even with all the work that he puts in, he never asks to be recognized or complains. I'm proud to have someone as hardworking and determined as Fernando, not only in National Honor Society, but as my friend.
I've known Emily since we were in kindergarten. What I remember best about Emily in elementary school is that she was an avid reader and a great writer. She always was very diligent and creative, challenging other students, myself included, to think outside the box and excel. In high school, Emily has continued to act as a leader. Emily has been described by her teachers as a hard worker, always prepared, pleasant, and very respectful. Having been in the classroom with her myself, I know firsthand that Emily is always willing to lend a helping hand, and she does not shy away from a challenge. She always displays compassion and respect towards those around her. In her community, she has volunteered with her church and for the Bridgewater Fair. I am honored to induct Emily as a member of National Honor Society and know that she will continue to inspire her fellow peers.
Nadia Roz is, in one word, enthusiastic. Seriously. In all my years that I've known Nadia, I can't remember one time where she wasn't upbeat, optimistic, and smiling. One of my favorite classic Nadia stories is from 3rd or 4th grade. We were playing a soccer game, and for those of you who don't know, Nadia plays goalie and I play defense, so we work closely together. And Nadia dove for a ball and went smack, head first, straight into the goalpost. No worries, she popped right back up, but she had no fear and was completely focused on saving the ball, that she had no regards for what was going to happen to her. Honestly, I don't remember if she saved it or not, but that's not the point. Nadia is enthusiastic about everything she does and never gives anything less than 150%. She carries this amazing quality into every part of her life, whether it is soccer, swimming, softball, tennis, Spartan Club, dramatics, or all of the community service programs that she is a part of. As a teammate of hers, I can say I wouldn't want anyone else on my team. And a fellow member of Spartan Club said that she is a huge contributor, always volunteering her time and participating in every event. Nadia puts all of herself in everything and never accepts anything less than her best. National Honor Society is lucky to have a member like Nadia.
Although I don't know Michelle personally, I did read over her candidate form and I was very impressed. Her community service activities alone add up to a grand total of 51 hours. She's received numerous awards for her superior leadership skills and for her dedication to her academics. But what I loved the most was the fact that her true passion for dance really came through in her candidate form. All of those 51 hours of community service were earned through benefit performances to raise money and awareness for causes such as cancer, domestic violence, sexual assault, and hematological diseases. She received the Arlene Paper-Spiegelman Award Scholarship, which is only awarded to one dancer each year for her hard work and perseverance as a dancer. She served as an assistant teacher at Fine Line Theater Arts and taught younger dancers the value of patience and determination. Michelle is the perfect addition to the National Honor Society. not only for her academic and moral leadership, but also for her passion to connect to a higher purpose by helping others through dance.
I have known Connor since my sophomore year when we both attended a peer leadership conference, and I discovered that he was actually pretty cool. I admired his willingness to volunteer his ideas and his confidence to be a leader in the presence of so many other strong personalities. Since that conference, Connor has grown more and more as a leader. He is an active member of the Spartan Club and is a compassionate volunteer. All of the volunteer activities that he has done are involved in some way with helping the less fortunate, whether it involves donating to the homeless or volunteering at soup kitchens. Connor is an Eagle Scout candidate, which you must know is a lot of work, and has dedicated almost 70 hours diligently working to achieve this extremely impressive and well-deserved status. He is also a skilled musician, having been a member of the Shepaug Orchestral Band, marching band, pep band, jazz band, and chorus, and has received the Shepaug Friends of Music Award and is a member of the Tri-M Music Honor Society. Every once in a while, I was fortunate enough to sit with Connor on the bus that we both took, and I have to say that those bus rides that I did spend talking to him were significantly less irritating than all of the others I had to endure. I am very proud to be able to refer to him as a fellow member of the National Honor Society from now on.
Having known Avery since we were in elementary school, there are a few words that come to mind when I think about her: positive, kind, and a hard worker. Throughout high school, Avery has continued to show these traits. Avery has been described by her teammates as someone who always gives 100% and has a positive attitude on and off the field. Whether she is playing in a soccer game or leading a discussion in the classroom, Avery is described by her teacher and coach as a leader that is always willing to help and lend a helping hand and advocate for her classmates and teammates. It is clear that Avery will be a valuable member of the National Honor Society and continue to be an integral part of the Shepaug community.
I met Sierra for the first time at cheerleading tryouts, and it was during our first season together that I discovered what an amazing person she is. Sierra is not only a skilled varsity athlete in field hockey and cheerleading, but she is one of the kindest people I have ever met. She is always looking for a way to help others, whether it's during a practice, during school, or while volunteering for her community. She has been an active part of her class's government, volunteering to help organize the homecoming, this year's junior prom, and many other class events. Sierra's kindness extends to her willingness to help her community. She has volunteered at over 10 different events over her 3 years in high school, which shows her dedication to being of service. She is a committed scholar and athlete, winning awards for proficiency in both areas, and an award for most conscientious cheerleader on the team, which I think says a lot about her personality. Sierra is a talented artist, an incredible athlete, and a devoted volunteer. But most importantly, Sierra is a kind friend. She never has anything negative to say, but in fact, she is filled with positivity, compliments, and smiles wherever she goes and whoever she's with. I have greatly enjoyed being her teammate and friend over the past 2 years, and I know that she is perfect for the National Honor Society.
The best way I can describe Emily Ward is dedicated. I've been singing in a choir outside of school with Emily since we were really little, and she's always been a dependable member, always at rehearsal and every performance. We can always count on Emily to be there. But she doesn't just dedicate herself to one thing. For example, the drama department. She was a huge contributor last year, and this year she's in charge of costumes. She spends time at home and during advisory to pull pieces, repair items, and brainstorm ideas. This is not something asked of her, but something that she chooses to do. Emily dedicates her time to helping others. She also shows this with her contributions to the junior class. As secretary of the class, her job description may not be that big, but the amount of work that she does to help organize and lead events is immeasurable. Emily dedicates herself to everything that she does. We are lucky to have a member as dedicated as Emily in National Honor Society.
It is said there are two types of people in this world, those who dream and those who do. Well, Sean does both in equal proportions, so there may need to be a third category. In fact, in many ways, Sean is a magnificent anomaly, an enigma, no less. On first glimpse, Sean is introverted, a man of few, albeit particular, words. But on second showing, he's a character of stunning charisma. From his incredible poetry at Mr. Shepaug, to his legendary talent show performance as a ballerina, and to his students, the class short model. Sean is an inescapable influence. He may seem to appeal only to industrial pragmatism, a devout coder and a scholarly scientist of this new technological age. But Sean is a musician, an ardent three-sport athlete, and holds the noble aspiration of attending the Air Force Academy. He is the synthesis of all human duality, and it makes identification with him inevitable. Such a comprehensive figure is an ideal addition to our humble NHS and, in conclusion, our community.
At this time, will the new inductees please come forward? There is. That's pretty good. Please raise your right hand and repeat this pledge after me. Raise it. There you go. I pledge to uphold the high purposes of the National Honor Society, to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands, and will maintain and encourage the high standards of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. Nice job.
Congratulations, new members. You may be seated. Thank you. Give them another round of applause. They've worked hard. Through NHS chapter activities, members maintain and extend the qualities that won them their selection. Membership is both an honor and a commitment. Newly elected members, as well as our current members, will be assigned to an advisory to which they will report every Tuesday to tutor and mentor students. The National Honor Society is also responsible for running 2 blood drives sponsored by the Red Cross each year. We have also added other charitable activities to increase our service and help those within our community. We have an amazing group of students, and with the wonderful addition of our new members, we are confident that the students will continue to uphold the pillars on which the National Honor Society was founded.
So I have the privilege of being the last speaker of the evening. I know you're disappointed about that. And I have to talk quickly before the candles melt. So, as the evening draws to a close, I have 2 final things to share with all of the NHS members. The first is a note of praise. You have willingly taken on one challenge after another to learn and contribute to Shepaug. Your service, leadership, character, and achievement play a significant role in the life of this school, and we thank you for that. The second is a request. You have been given important gifts. Please remember to share them generously and unconditionally. Please work hard to be good leaders. To paraphrase John F. Kennedy, too often leaders enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought. As intellectual leaders, please be willing to experience the discomfort of thought, the agony of ethical decision-making. Many of us are counting on you. I thank you in advance for that. This brings our ceremony to a close. Thank you to Mrs. Steinis and Mrs. Hines for all their hard work. Thank you to all the family members who have joined us in this celebration. And I would ask that the new inductees and the members come up for another group picture, and I have two more things to tell you. Stay so your parents can also get a picture with you or of you. And then take your candle home so your mothers have it for the memory box. Thank you very much.